Today, I will be presenting about one of the major philosophical schools of thought, which is idealism. Idealism can be understood in two ways. Firstly, it is often seen as the unrealistic belief in or pursuit of perfection. But in philosophy, it carries a deeper meaning. Idealism is a metaphysical view which suggests that reality is based on ideas in the mind rather than on physical or material objects. The term idealism comes from the ancient Greek word idea means which means to see. This highlights the belief that our perception and mental ideas form the true nature of reality. One of the most famous philosophers associated with idealism is Plato, an ancient Greek thinker who lived from around 427 BCE to 347 BCE. Plato is often referred to as the father of idealism because of his influential ideas about the nature of reality and truth. In education, idealist philosophy provides complete guidelines because it encourages students to think critically and reflect on higher truth. However, it is also said to emphasize humanity and undervalue science and technology, since it focuses more on ideas and values than on the physical or practical world. Next, to explain his philosophy more clearly, Plato gave us the famous allegory of the cave. He described a group of prisoners chained inside a cave. Behind them, there is a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners, people walk by carrying objects. The fire casts shadows of these objects onto the cave wall, and since the prisoners cannot turn their heads, they only see the shadows. To them, these shadows appear to be the only reality. One day, a prisoner managed to break free and leave the cave. At first, the outside world is overwhelming, but eventually he sees the true reality beyond the shadows. This outside world represents truth, or what Plato calls the world of forms. The freed prisoner then returns to the cave to tell his fellow prisoners about their reality outside. However, they refuse to believe him because they are too used to the shadows. The hidden meaning behind the story is that we should not rely only on appearances or what we immediately see. True wisdom comes from deep thinking, questioning, and seeking real knowledge beyond the surface. Next.
Hi, my name is Noralia Afifa and I'm going to talk about the idealism in education. First, education helps learners gain useful knowledge and skills that can be applied in daily life. Second, it supports personal growth by encouraging experiences, reflection, and solving problems. It emphasizes building strong moral values within oneself. The fourth one is it motivates individuals to step out of their comfort zone and face challenges. The last one, it works to preserve, enrich, and pass on cultural values for the progress of society. Next, now I'm going to talk about the implications of idealism. The first one, it trains a person to think clearly and logically, becoming more rational. The other one, it plays a role in shaping and improving the overall culture of society. The third one, it preserves and enriches and passes down important cultural values to future generations. The last one, it builds positive and meaningful relationships between teachers and students. Next, next slide. Now it's about idealism and teaching methods. First, the teacher-center approach. The teacher first teach the students the topic. The teacher will ask the students about the topic. Then the feedback from the students will determine how they further in the topic. After that, the student-center approach. The teacher asks the students about what they know about the topic. If they know, the teacher will ask them to share about what they know correct. What they know, correct them if they are wrong. If they doesn't know, the teacher will ask them to research about it and share it with everyone. Then other methods of teaching are learn through reading, learn through lecturing, and learn through discussion, or learn through imitation. And the last one is employ the device of simple to complex. That's all from me. Thank you.
Now let's talk about realism. The term realism comes from the Latin word realis, which means to be really, really real. At its core, realism is all about portraying life truthfully. It's a philosophy that rejects idealized or romanticized views of the world and instead focuses on actual human experiences. No supernatural elements, no speculative fiction, just the raw, unfiltered reality. One of the key figures in this movement of Henrik Ibsen, a Norwegian playwright from the 19th century. He's often called the father of realism. Through his plays, Ibsen challenged audiences to confront real life issues, complex characters, and the uncomfortable truths of society. He moved away from fantasy and idealism, guiding us toward a more pragmatic and honest view of life. Now let's look at the four main characteristics of realism. First one, realistic characters and settings. Realism presents people and places as they truly are, not as we wish them to be. Next is comprehensive detail about everyday occurrences. It captures the ordinary, the mundane, and the relatable aspect of daily life. The third one is plausible plot. The stories told in realism could easily happen in your own town or neighborhood. They are believable and grounded. The last one is real dialects of the area. Language matters. Realism uses authentic speech patterns and local expressions to reflect the true voice of the people. In short, realism invites us to see the world not through rose colored glasses but through clear lenses. It teaches us to value truth, logic, and critical thinking. And that's a powerful lesson, especially in education.
Okay, next slide. Okay, now we are going to discuss the philosophical school of thought known as realism. So, realism in education is the belief that we should use logic, critical thinking, and the scientific method to teach students to perceive and understand reality. The job of schools is to teach students about the world around them. This approach emphasizes practical, hands-on learning. For instance, realism in education is seen through internship, field trips, and experiments. The use of technology like virtual reality (VR), hands-on activities such as role-playing and project-based learning also align with this philosophy. Next slide. There are 5 types of realism. So realism is not just one concept, it can be broken down into a different type. The first one is magical realism. It presents a realistic view of the world while adding magical elements. The second one is social realism. It focuses on depicting real socio-political conditions. The third one, kitchen scene realism, which describes a movie, television show, or play that portrays the problem of everyday life. The next, the socialist realism, it used to idealize realistic arts to depict communist values. The last one is naturalism. It applies the scientific method to support all the beings and events in the universe are based on natural causes.
Okay, next we have pragmatism. First, let's understand what pragmatism means. Pragmatism is an approach that focuses on practical and logical solutions. It comes from the Greek word pragma, which means action. For example, if we have a problem, pragmatism doesn't just focus on theories, it looks at what solution actually works. Realism is favoring practicality and accepting the physical facts of life. while pragmatism is having the view that practical consequences are the criteria of knowledge, meaning, and value. While they share practical elements, realism sees truth as fixed, while pragmatism sees truth as evolving based on what works best. Next. In education, pragmatism is about making learning practical and useful. The key theorist here is John Dewey, who believed that education should prepare us for real life, not just exams. There are four main principles of pragmatism in education, which is utility, mean learning must be useful in daily life. Next, interest. Students learn better when they are interested. Next, experience. We learn best by doing, not just memorizing. And lastly, integration. Knowledge should be connected with real life situations. Next. Okay. There are two important elements. First, practical learning. This means applying lessons to real world situations. Example, using theoretical skills in practical scenarios, like using math skill to budget our allowance. Okay. And the second one is experiential learning. This means learning through real experiences, not just reading books. Such as example, entrepreneurship. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.